Hello, welcome to Tea with the President, a weekly session where I get to sit down with President Naokimi Ushiroda and talk about the week, what happened, what was challenging, what was good, what we're looking forward to in the next week. Sip some tea, maybe spill some tea. How are you, President Naokimi?
I'm good. Good to see you again, Yoshie.
Yeah, always good to see you.
Did you straighten your hair or something? It looks different.
I actually just did like a hair treatment on it today.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, so it's like washed.
Well, it looks good.
That's nice to know that it was so effective.
Getting better at noticing these things.
Thank you for noticing. Yeah, so if you are new here, this is just a casual conversation. If you have a question for President Naokimi or myself, please feel free to put them in the comments. And in the meantime, we can go ahead and get started. So President Naokimi, how was last week for you? What was a highlight of this last week?
Well, I guess, I shared in the sermon that, it's been a challenging week, and mainly because, for those who haven't heard already, my father had a stroke, and he's not able to speak or really move. So I've been feeling very foggy, all week, kind of not able to focus on my work.
Right.
It's just a very, my pet peeve is wasting time. So it was frustrating, but because I was aware that, I was kind of feeling that way, I kind of I excused myself.
Right.
I was like, it's okay this week to not be focused, to not be fully productive. And so, anyway, although it was emotionally exhausting, just because of, I explained some of that in my sermon, but the main thing is just the uncertainty with the future,
right?
And the worrying about what does the aftercare look like, and who's going to take responsibility and all that kind of stuff. So that's been challenging, but interestingly, because of having to deciding to take visit every afternoon, and kind of having to reduce my schedule, I was able to log in only 43 hours in 7 days, and that was the least number of hours I've ever done since my presidency. So
Gosh.
I guess that was a highlight, just knowing that it looks like the organization is still alive, and
that it will survive if
it
you
survives, even if
you work a regular 40-hour week.
Yeah. So that was good to see and know. And probably the other thing was my sisters also kind of independently visited my dad, and
Right.
so we met up at the hospital or the rehab center. So that's been nice. I haven't really talked with them in a while, so just, of course, it's not the best occasion to be meeting, but it's the first time having this kind of more one-on-one time with them. Usually we gather for Christmas, or everyone's together, but to actually spend time one-on-one and just connecting that way, that it's been a long time since being able to do that. So that was nice.
So your Sunday service challenge of the week to speak to a family member that you haven't spoken to in a while was kind of based on experience
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I felt like this kind of situation prompted that, and I felt like, wow, I hope we don't have to wait till someone has a stroke or dies to be able to
Right.
meet, to have those kind of conversations. In my case, it did, but I wanted to encourage everyone to take the time to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you were able to take the time that you needed and that you gave yourself room to take time. Um, yeah, even though it's not necessarily in your character to take that. So yes, good. I'm glad that you got to spend time with family, although sorry about the circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember last week it was like that, it had just happened the day before, and it was kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel, what to feel, whatnot, but
Right.
I feel a little bit more, yeah, more settled, I guess. I needed a week to kind of process some thoughts and feelings, and I
Mm.
also felt like I needed to kind of express it during Sunday sermon just so that I can maintain my authenticity around whatever
Right.
else I was going to speak about.
Right.
So I feel like that was accomplished, and of course, I can do here updates here and there as needed, but I feel like I've shared enough that I can continue to move on with other things while,
Mm.
having that aspect acknowledged
Mm-hmm.
with my father. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
You.
feeling a little bit better. I mean, I feel like I can. I don't know if I'm gonna do as much time off. We'll see. I'm gonna play it by ear and
Okay.
see what's necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you expect that next week is gonna look like this week, but you seem to have answered my question already.
Maybe, maybe, maybe 60 instead of 80. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Right. Ease yourself back in.
yeah.
Right.
Actually, my target hours is actually 50 a week. So,
Okay.
I think anyway, I do know certain things are kind of tend to pile up if I'm not fully engaging. But anyway, that's my goal. Gonna get there. 50
Mm.
hours a work week. That's where I want to be. So we'll see.
Mm. Um, Marion wants to know, how are your wife and children coping, and your mom?
Um, yeah, I mean, my mom is also going with me every day to kind of visit and talk with my dad and massage and things like that. I think, we've been trying to um, support her whatever she needs, um, and she also feels, comfortable enough to go when we go, so she doesn't feel
Mm.
like she wants to stay longer or just by
Mm.
herself there, but just when we're there. And yeah, it seems like she's been doing her best to keep her spirits up in this kind of situation. So, um, yeah, as for my wife, she's been very helpful. I've been really appreciating her just coming with me each time. And my kids, we explained the situation, and my son has visited. My daughter has not yet. We're a little bit careful because my dad's not vaccinated, so
Oh,
we
I
don't
see.
want. There were a few requests for people to visit, but at this point, we're recommending people not to visit other than family,
Mm-hmm.
until he's is in a much more stable. I mean, he's stable, but yeah, until he's recovered a bit more. So
Right.
that's kind of. So yeah, I think they've they've been handling it well, um, given the circumstances.
Great. Okay, so then, what was challenging about this week? The highlight was being able to kind of take time to visit your dad, and
Yeah, I think I kind of already covered the challenges, which was just the daily visits. From the beginning, I kind of felt like I wanted to do at least that, and actually now that he's in kind of a acute rehab center, they do 3 hours of rehab every day
Oh,
in
wow.
different time slots throughout the day. So it's really only in the late afternoon that there's kind of space to visit. Um, so we've been doing that, but yeah, I think the daily trips has been kind of emotionally or psychologically or mentally or something. It's
Mm,
spiritually exhausting. It's just, yeah. Mm, yeah,
yeah, fair
I
enough.
expressed it a little bit during the Sunday sermon, but this kind of, it's not just the uncertainty, but it's kind of like this reversal of roles in terms of care.
Yeah.
And uh just seeing your parent or someone who's been kind of a pillar being so fragile or like um yeah, it's yeah, it weighs heavy spiritually, I think.
Right. Yeah.
So of course we're trying to keep hope and be positive and encourage him, but at the same time you see, you know um just being physically bound, or not being able to speak or move. It's
Yeah.
quite challenging just observing that
Yeah.
aspect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. So dealing, and then I feel like I've been, um, just throughout the day, like thinking like, oh, how must it be like not being able to go to the bathroom by yourself, or even be able to shave. Um,
Yeah.
just small things here and there, and just like those thoughts would come, and just uh it's hard like to relax, or like just be at home and enjoy time with family when you're like, my father's in the hospital, not
Right.
able to speak or
Yeah.
move. So
Right.
there's this kind of like not being free to enjoy life kind of feeling.
Yeah.
um Anyway, I know that's not healthy or whatnot, but that's just like, it comes up just throughout the night and the day. It's just ever present. So
Yeah.
um, I I'm trying to rationalize to contain that, but I've noticed that that's there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Yoshi, I don't mean to
Yeah.
depress you or
No,
anything. It's just
I understand though. I think there there's the immediate kind of fear for his life, right? And it's a little bit beyond that now, but the kind of yeah. And then beyond that, there's just kind of the awareness of like the suffering of one that you love, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And interestingly, like the thought that occurred was, that's how, you know, true parents must be living their lives all the time, just like always emoting and feeling for the members on the front
Yeah.
line and not being able to rest because of that.
Yeah. It's gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
So
was challenging about this week.
yes.
Yes.
It has been.
So, key developments this week. What happened to turn our attention back to work?
Yeah. So while all that was happening, a couple things that I thought were significant this week. I met with Subregion 3, Kazuo Takami-san, and about reviewing their finances. And one of the main things I've been working on is really empowering the subregions to become financially self-sufficient so that they can make decisions on their own without depending on headquarters. So I've been restructuring it so that, the ties from the local community also contribute to the sub-regional budget. So they actually have financial strength to make decisions and to hire people and to support different districts and different projects, including covering their own kind of salary for the sub-regional staff. And instead of getting it from headquarters, I want them to fund it themselves, everything. So we've set it up, and and he's. I felt like everything was clear. He felt like it was possible. So kind of like maximizing the potential success with this shift, and I felt like he got it. So I was really happy with that. Also, this week, Dr. Yong is moving. Has been visiting Subregion 2. And
we should do a segment on like where in the world, where in America is Dr.
Yeah,
Young?
where in America. Yeah, I decided as soon as this event has settled, like we made a plan. So every other week he's visiting another subregion to kind of keep him busy. I have some mental space to focus on subregion 1. So yeah, that was good. He met with a bunch of members. I was impressed. Like almost 500 people showed up in Maryland to welcome him, and we met with a few megachurch pastors and attended a pastor summit and anniversary of the church in Atlanta celebration. And so he's been keeping really busy on his trips, which is great. Like I want I want the sub-regional host to keep him busy. So that's been great. And and then the last thing, I kind of started this meeting with sharing, but today was the last of the 14 district. Actually, District 14 was divided into North and South because it's the largest district.
Okay.
So 15 different district meetups
Wow.
I kind of did, and we just finished today for the last one. So to me, that was a significant benchmark. It was kind of because of the COVID situation when we started 3 months ago, I felt like this was my way to also do a virtual national tour.
Yeah.
And I do feel like in each meeting, I was able to just be who I was, and the members could ask any questions, and I felt like they could connect, get to know me better, and understand what, my vision and where I want to go. And I felt like they could feel confidence in where we're headed and connected to the very top. So I felt like it did serve the intention and purpose of the district meetups. So I'm really excited about having completed that, and I'm planning to continue those rounds as well.
Yeah, Anne-Marie Naka said that she was just in a meeting with you, so I think that must have been what you were talking about. Yeah. I know that you, before we went live, you mentioned to me that you were kind of doing your own little national tour, but you didn't have to pay for any airplane tickets.
Right. I'm fine with efficiency.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can turn our attention to Sunday service in the comments. If you're watching for the first time, President Naokimi reads all of the comments on Facebook after his sermon is over. He highlights his favorite ones, and then we have the chance to kind of go over and dig into the topic a little bit more. Yes, here. So the first comment that you highlighted was Peter Reiner, who said, "Wow, GPA choir."
Yeah, I was impressed. I mean, I've seen that performance before, but it's still amazing. Like when I hear it, I'm just like, dang, they sound super professional, and I would be like proud, like showcasing that as our young people singing, kind of like that. So
Yeah.
anyway, I was super proud of that
Right.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sunhwa for making that
Yeah,
happen.
Sun
That
Hwa
was
for thank you.
while GPA was remote. She had like an extracurricular that she would meet with some of the GPA kids who opted in. Yeah, and I think they put together 3 performances during that time, and that was one of them. So, yeah, really well done. Amazing. Yeah. Okay. Jennifer Pierce says, "Who likes doing homework, though?"
Yeah, I thought that was cute because I mentioned that my daughter didn't like doing homework. So, yes, thanks for being a big sis and defending my daughter.
That's true. That's true. And then Alan Leroy said, "Agreed. Just do as wife asked."
Yeah, that was another point about happiness, happy wife, happy life kind of thing. So, not just listen, but to do what she says.
Right.
So that's an experienced husband speaking there.
And then Diane Hack said, "Love, care, acceptance, and patience will bring those who have been disconnected back in our communities."
Yeah. That's been a recurring theme, and it's come up in several of my meetups with the districts where they would ask, and what is headquarters? What's your plan in reaching out to disconnected members or second generation? I'm like, well, the answer is actually in your hands, and like really encouraging them that it's no organization or system is going to solve that problem for us. It's really up to us, really practicing what we preach and really investing in those relationships and even apologizing for what we lacked in the past or because we're too busy or weren't conscious of it. Like it's going to come down to our investing in our relationships personally, one-on-one with them. So yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that comment.
Yes. And then Jennifer Pierce again.
Twice.
See it as an opportunity to grow your capacity to love.
Yeah, she quoted the secret sauce, the secret of the day. So I just wanted to, yeah, it's kind of like, where I'm trying to merge this East and West culture every time in my sermons, right? And in the East, it's like this sacrifice and die and resurrect and, this kind of stuff, right? Maybe it's not an East-West thing, but anyway, the spiritual side is always talking about that, right? But I like presenting things in a more positive, opportunistic way. And so I'm like, it's really, instead of just self-denial and die so that you can, connect with others or live for the sake of others, I see it as a chance to, from an original perspective, that it's an opportunity to grow my ability to love. And instead of seeing it as a denial of my fallen nature, it's really strengthening my original nature and my capacity to love in my relationships, because that's how God designed us, and that's what's going to remain in the afterlife is your heart. So hey, it's an opportunity to grow. That's kind of the perspective with which I like to share.
Yeah. Family is not just about like the good times, right? Especially like when you're going through something like you're going through now. That's when, yeah, you learn that it's about like the good and the challenge and growing through it, going through it together.
It's kind of like, actually, the original title of the sermon was The Family Vow. And I felt like I didn't make enough references throughout my speech, my sermon, to keep that title, so I changed it to Family, the School of Love. But the concept of the family vow was that, expanding the marriage vow, till death do us part, in health and in sickness. It's kind of like that, where as a family, it's not just the happy times, but in health and in sickness, till death do us part. This kind of commitment that we have as family members to each other. But the difference is, it's not, you don't have to say it. It's it just is.
Right.
In marriage, you're making that verbal commitment to your spouse, but in family, that's just the underlying rule.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, next comment. Marie Bond said, dealing with family challenges is something horizontal. We need the vertical relationship with God in order to love, forgive, and unite.
Yeah, this was a point that stood out to me. I felt like I didn't mention that aspect during my sermon so much, and I felt like it was a really valid point. I mentioned a lot of good points on how to deal with it, but the ultimate point, I think, is I implied it, but I didn't make it a specific point, which was that in order to really overcome and be able to love, it's about tapping into God's love and God's perspective on each person. That's how you're going to have the kind of perspective and the patience and the capacity to continue to invest, is if you're able to connect to that kind of God's perspective and his love or her love towards the person that you're relating with. So kudos to, was that Marie?
Marie, yes.
Maria, yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. I thought that was a really good point.
And then Just Son Darty said, that's my favorite passage in the whole Bible.
The love is kind. The love is patient. Love is kind. Yep. I agree. It's great. It's a great passage. There was a few others who also said that was their favorite. But
oh, yeah. I see. Jack Harford said, not sure exactly why, but my heart feels moved by this Sunday service. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jack. Yeah. Ditto. I think anyway, thanks for expressing that, Jack.
Yeah. And then I said, ooh, I like that point. Family is a school of love and we never graduate from it.
Yes, you got on the list today again this year. But yeah, I felt that was a cool quote that I came up with, so I wanted to acknowledge that. It's like, it's a school of love that we don't graduate from, because there's always new layers. When you have a new nephew or new in-law, it's ever expanding. When you're a grandparent, even if you go to spirit world, it's like your descendants, so it's like this ever expanding school of love that's never ending. So.
Great. Okay, so that is the last of the comments. What are you looking forward to this week?
This week is we are planning a Sub-Region 1 Leaders Planning Retreat on Friday and Saturday, and that's where I'm going to share my master plan for Sub-Region 1.
That's like a power pose right there.
I still have to figure it out.
To the universe.
But before we start, in 5 days, a master plan shall descend upon me, and I shall share it, and it will be amazing. And Subregion 1 will be super clear and excited, and it's going to be awesome. So
Great.
that's what
Exciting.
I'm looking forward to.
Nice. Yes, and we're running a little low on time, but Marian, she was actually the first comment of the day. She asked, "What is the hair secret recipe?" And I want to answer it.
Oh, yours. Oh, I see. Okay. I was like, well.
Yeah, so my hair is getting long, but I have a friend who's a hairdresser, and she's not available for the next couple of weeks. And so I bought just some hair treatment online called Olaplex, and I used that. And it was the first time using it, and I think, yeah, I don't know. This is kind of, it's still kind of drying, but Naokimi noticed it, so yeah. Must have worked.
Looks good.
Yeah. And okay, on that note, I guess we can sign off for the evening.
Okay. Great note to sign off.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And
I'll tell you my hair secrets next week, Marian.
Yes, stay tuned. Yeah. Yeah, and God bless you, and we will see you next week.
All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye.